grass is at the root of the tree. Unquenchable fire is going to burn. For the uninitiated, that could scare the bejeebers out of them. God's out for you. You better run, you better hide. But we don't have to worry about that. Those of us who have been through the waters of initiation, we're not uninitiated. We are the initiated. And if we have been faithful to our spiritual work, we don't find fear in this gospel lesson. Instead, we find the bounty of God's grace, the beauty of the beloved's love. It's right there. You see it, right? For we who are initiated, we grasp and understand the paradox of fire. Jalal-ud-Din Rumi, he wrote a poem that really captures that paradox. He wrote, "One dervish to another, what was your vision of God's presence? I haven't seen anything, but for the sake of conversation, I'll tell you a story. God's presence is there in front of me, a fire on the left, a lovely stream on the right. One group walks toward the fire, into the fire. Another toward the sweet flowing water. No one knows which are blessed and which not. Whoever walks into the fire appears suddenly in the stream. A head goes under on the water surface. That head pokes out in the fire. Most people guard against going into the fire, and so end up in it. Those who love the water of pleasure and make it their devotion are cheated with this reversal. The trickery goes further. The voice of the fire tells the truth, saying, I am not fire, I am fountainhead. Come into me and don't mind the sparks. If you are a friend of God, fire is your water. You should wish to have 100,000 sets of moth wings so you could burn them away one set a night. The moth sees light and goes into fire. You should see fire and go toward light. Fire is what of God is world-consuming. Water, world-protecting. We who have been initiated have been through the fiery water. So we don't need to make the mistake of the uninitiated with this gospel lesson. Here's how that mistake works. Goats, sheep, goatmen, I guess we'll leave you all out. You're kind of in purgatory, okay? Goats, sorry, you're on the threshing floor, you're chaff. Unquenchable fire for you. Sheep, hey, you're grain. Let's go to the granary. That's a mistake. And if you're initiated and have done your spiritual work, you recognize that mistake because the threshing floor is the bounty of God's grace. The threshing floor is there for you. It's there for me. And when I do the spiritual work of awareness and acceptance, I can shake out of me that chaff that drags me into disastrous decisions, drags me into destructive ways of living. I can shake that stuff out onto the threshing floor, and it's burnt in unquenchable fire. It's gone. It's not there to trouble me anymore. And the good that's within me is gathered and taken to the granary, be made to something even better. La, 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 la. Spirituality, right? Oh, hug a tree. I'll tell you what, here's the truth of spirituality. If you and I effectively use that threshing floor and come to terms with the chaff and come to terms with the grain, we live a life that's filled with confidence, a confidence that flows out of the calming, loving presence of our Creator. And that works out those doors. It's not just in here. We live in this planet. So if we're in a business meeting and the business deal's going south and the anxiety level starts going crazy, people running around like they're chickens with their heads cut off, the person who is initiated, that has done the spiritual work, becomes an oasis of calm and peace, becomes a non-anxious presence that begins to pull back to the center all of that wild emotion. When there's a tragedy in my family or in your family, and anxiety again is going way high, and how do we deal with this? What do we do? The initiated person who's done the spiritual work is that presence of calm, of confidence, that brings peace back to a sad situation, provides vision for going forward. And in the middle of joy, instead of following the water of pleasure and saying, hot dog, we made the deal, or wow, I got this big bonus, let's go out and just get plastered and do something stupid, do something destructive. Instead of doing that, we fold that joy into our hearts and in generosity share that goodness with those around us in a healthy and good way. That's the work of spirituality. If you want to hug a tree, go ahead. Trees need it. But real spirituality flows up from within, from that fiery water. Most of us here are initiated. Most of us have been through the fiery waters. And if you've not been through the waters or been through initiation, our next baptismal feast is January the 12th, the baptism of our Lord.